started a small business. I was selling cookies,
Mm.
low sugar cookies back home. So, and it was the hell, it was a hell of
No
an
way.
adventure. But now,
que votre
Hi, Rita. I'm so
hi,
glad you could join
Fidelia.
me. Hello.
Hi,
How are you today?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here with you today.
I'm happy that you could join us for this lovely
Thank you.
conversation.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. I wanted you here because I was really hoping that we could learn more and hear more about your experience of working on the continent and what you currently do and what you've learnt. Kind of just take us through a story time and tell us the things that you've encountered and you've lived.
So right now, I'm I've always been a marketing strategist, right? Because
Yeah.
I've studied marketing in school, and out of school, I got some jobs, some stuff going on, and then I came to the US to do my MBA.
Yeah.
And after my MBA, I got back home for like 5 years before coming back to the US.
Oh
And
wow.
during that time period, I started a small business. I was selling cookies,
Hmm.
low sugar cookies back home. So, and it was the hell, it was a hell of
No
an
way.
adventure. But now I'm in the US. I started like I used my experience from that business, and now I'm helping women in business just to grow their sales online using video and advertising,
Okay.
Facebook and Instagram advertising. So that's what I do now. But
That
I
is
think
so
today we'll go on
interesting.
the story from the business back home that I had to close, by the way.
No
But I will tell
way.
you why.
That is so funny. You know, initially when you said low sugar cookies, I was like, that sounds like such a good idea. And then you're like, it's hell. I
Yeah.
was like, okay.
Yeah, it was a good idea and actually it was working, but
Yeah.
I had to shut it down because of the reason I will mention during the
Oh
show. I don't want
no.
to spill out everything in the intro. In the end.
I'm excited. I'm excited. I mean, feel free to jump in. I'm keen. I'm keen. Also, in terms of your like the videos you share and helping women do entrepreneurship, I'll include the link downstairs, like downstairs in the
The
comments below. So just
okay,
feel free to
okay,
share
no
that
problem.
afterwards.
Okay, thank you. So I was when I got back to Cameroon after my MBA. I worked at Nestle. I don't know if you know the company. It's
Yeah.
a multinational in Africa, and I worked there for months. And then I had that passion for like African brand. I don't know
Hmm.
why, but I've always had that passion for like let me help African brand grow.
Hmm.
So that's how I left Nestle and I went to a cosmetic brand that is
Hmm.
really huge in my country. It's called Laboratoire Biopharma.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So I went there and I worked there as a brand manager and then as a category manager. Anyway, I worked there for some time. And then after a while, I was kind of bored
Hmm.
because I was like, I already know this job. Like, it's kind of on autopilot. Let me start something. At first, it was not even starting the business just to start the business. I just wanted to get busy.
Yeah.
So I started doing bakery again. And I love cookies. I
Mm.
love sugary stuff.
Oh my good. I
But
love eating sugary stuff. We're such a great match.
exactly. But my mom has diabetes. So she was always on my
Mm.
neck like you should stop eating sugar. And I was like,
Mm.
I can eat sugar but not exaggerate the sugar, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's how I started going into supermarket and I was looking for low sugar cookies and I couldn't
Mm.
find any.
Mm.
So I was like, oh my goodness. I went to the biggest like supermarket that are even outside Casino that is in France and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
and I couldn't find. And the one to two brands that I found were extremely expensive.
Mm-hmm.
For a pack of cookies, they would tell you almost 10K in France CFA.
Wow.
So I was like, oh my goodness, who is going to afford this? Like, this does not make
Mm.
any sense.
What's the
So that's
equivalent?
how I was like, okay, I just bought the things to do the cookies. I went
Yeah.
on Google because I used to do bakery, but I've abandoned it with being busy and stuff. So I was like, let me buy the things to do the cookies and I would just try.
What's the
So
equivalent? Sorry to interrupt. What's the equivalent of the 10K in Sifa in like dollars?
10K is like $20
Okay,
for
right.
a pack of cookies. Like,
My goodness.
so it didn't make any sense. I
Yeah,
was like, I can't keep up with this. I know I love cookies, but this
too
is too
much.
much.
Yeah.
So that's how I was like, okay, let me do my own cookie. And I started doing my cookie, and I love packaging also. That's something I didn't
Nice.
say in the beginning. I love when
Wow.
things are beautiful. Like when you come to my house next to my office, I don't know if I have some boxes here. I will
Mm.
always keep the nice the box that I found,
Wow.
like, oh, I like this, is beautiful. I will always keep it because I'm like, one day I want our country to have those boxes for all of their products, because I believe we
Wow.
have some products, some good products, but the way they are packaged, it doesn't encourage you to go and try
True.
it.
It's very true.
And one thing I've noticed here in America is that they are very good at packaging.
Yeah.
The food is not always good, but the
Yeah.
packaging is always perfect. So I was like, okay, let me package. I know it's my own cookie, but let me
Yeah.
package it. So I was packaging it in small things, like gift things,
That's
and I would
cute.
just bring all of them in my drawer at the office
I love
and put it
that.
in. When I want to get something, I would just take one and stuff like that. So on the second day, I had
Mm.
my colleague ask me like, "What are you eating?" I'm like, eating homemade cookies." And he's like, homemade cookies, let me
Mm.
try. And he was like, I gave him, like,
Mm-hmm.
him and other acts. We were like in a cubicle of like, I think 8. So
Mm-hmm.
everybody started asking, and I was like, it's paid. Like, it's paid. You have to pay to get cookies. I'm just giving you the taste now. It's a
Mm-hmm.
tester now. But tomorrow, if you want again, you're going to pay. I'm sorry. These are my cookies you're taking.
And you're
So
right.
that's how they were like, yes, we are going to pay, no problem. How much is it? And I was like, what? Like,
Oh
I,
wow.
I was just joking,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, yeah.
And it came out there was a demand because the area we were in, it was like an industrial zone. So there were not many shop around. You had to
Mm.
drive to get to the first shop and stuff like that. And when you're
Mm-mm-mm.
working, sometimes you just want a snack. You don't want to go drive and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and you don't always have somebody to send to. So that's how I just gave a price like that. And the night when I got home, I was like, I need to do the cookies because people ordered. And that's how I started doing. Like,
I
after work,
love
I was
that.
doing the cookies. And then my mom started helping me
I
because she
love
loves
that.
cooking. And she started helping me doing the cookies, and
Oh,
that's how I started selling the cookies. Like,
wow.
it wasn't even intentionally going
Yeah,
into business.
yeah.
So at some point, I couldn't just mix both, and I had to resign and just go
Wow.
full in into my cookie business. So I started
Amazing.
upgrading the packaging, started ordering things from China and stuff like that. And when I was ordering, I was going with a local guy that was playing the, how do you call that, the middleman. So I was not
Mm,
ordering directly from China, since I was not taking huge quantity yet. So I was like, let me just go through this person. So that's how I started doing, and it was going well until, so that I started in 2018. I
mm.
resigned in 2019,
Wow.
and in 2020 I had to go because I was married. I was married since 2017, and
Mm.
my husband was in the US, and I was waiting for my paper to come out. You know how
Mm-hmm.
the immigration works.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
was
yeah.
waiting for my paper to come out, and it was not coming out. So I started getting
Mm.
busy. And in 2020, they came out.
Wow. Oh no, and your
So
business was like booming. Oh no.
I had to like go. And remember, in 2020, we also had COVID.
Yeah.
So we were like, if I don't go now, I'm not sure
Yeah.
they will lock, because they locked everywhere. Everywhere
Yeah.
was on lockdown mode. So I had to rush and go. And I was like, okay, I need to I need to find a way to sell this thing from a distance. Because when I was back home, I
Yeah.
had sales people. I already had employees, like
Mm-hmm.
uh, people who was helping me sell in the cities where I was not. Because in the beginning I was going back and forth in the two
Mm-hmm.
main city in Cameroon, Douala and Yaoundé, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes even in Bafoussam. So I was doing the back
Mm.
and forth, and it was hard. So at some point I had to find people to help me sell over there, and I had partnership with some supermarket where I could put the product and stuff like that. So it was going
Mm.
well, I would say. And then
Mm.
I had to travel, so I had to find a solution.
Oh no.
That's where I started being introduced to online business, like
Ah la la.
building your brand online.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Here's something, honestly. So I started being really focused, going all in the online thing, because it was something new for me. Even though I was in marketing, I was not like doing the my generation was not deep in the online marketing stuff, especially the fact that I was working in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if I was working in the US, I would be exposed more often to that.
Mm-hmm.
But in Africa, it wasn't that developed yet. Brand
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
were not really building their brand online that much. They were still using the traditional marketing. So here is oh, let me remove the
You
background
have to put it in front of your face.
so
If
I
you
can
if you
show you.
if you put it
Oh, I
oh
wanted to show you the packaging, but it's not. I will send you a picture later, and you will just put it on the
yeah.
recording.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I started going deep in online. Like, I was like, okay, people say you just have to create a page and post, and I started posting, but nothing was happening. I sent the
Mm.
invite to friend and family and stuff, and I got like 1K followers,
Mm.
and but nobody was actually buying from online. So I was like, I
Mm.
don't know what to do. Like, I don't understand what's going on, what's not
Mm.
working. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
maybe, when you're not a professional in something, you need to hire.
Yeah.
So I hired my first community manager.
Mm-hmm.
Think the person just had a training in community management, so I figured maybe there will be a better fit than I.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, over 6 months, I was paying the person, and I didn't have followers. I
Wow.
didn't have more followers. I was still on 1K
Okay.
followers. The 1K followers I had from my friends and family,
Wow.
and I had no sales, no engagement on my post.
My
And that was
goodness.
on Facebook, right? So I was like, oh my goodness, what's going on?
Mm.
Like, maybe I hire wrong. So let me try something else. And I tried two more community manager. And the
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
same thing happened. So for like 18 months, I was just paying people for nothing.
Mm.
And I started also notice that back home, the salespeople I had were stealing from me. So
Mm.
all of that mix, I was like, should I continue with this thing? But I still, when you created something, like, it's like your baby, so it's not
Yeah.
easy to let it go.
Yeah.
It was really hard for me. I even felt into a depression. Like, I was depressed at some
No.
point because I was pregnant and I was not
Oh.
sleeping.
Oh.
Uh, I was pregnant. I had a job, and at night I was working on my business until 3 a.m. And I had
Mm.
to wake up at 6, 7. So
My
I
goodness.
didn't have enough hours of sleep, and that's how I just had a burnout at some point. I was like,
Wow.
yeah, I couldn't move forward. I was just like, what's going on? What's happening to me? And at the time, I didn't even know it was a burnout. It's later
Mm.
on that I realized it was a burnout I was facing.
Yeah.
And being pregnant with the hormones and everything, it was
Mm.
just something. And I
Oh.
didn't have an easy pregnancy, but that's another
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
story for another day. So I was like, what do I do with this thing? Like,
Mm.
these people are stealing. I was like, let me just give a last chance to this thing. So
Mm.
I ordered packaging because I was also short on packaging. So I was like, let
Mm,
me order packaging. And I
mm,
had a good deal. If I was supposed to get more than 100,000 packaging at what's the price in US? I just want to convert directly so that
Did you get it from Alibaba or
no,
elsewhere?
I continue to go through the same person I told you. So I was
Mm,
like, I could have like 100 pieces delivered to the house.
mhm,
I use the same provider we used to use, but I just
mhm,
increased the quantity I was ordering before.
mhm,
So
mhm,
no, it was even 200, two
mhm.
hundred at something like I think it was $8,000, something like that. So
$8,000 on
yeah.
packaging.
So I gave the
Wow.
advance to the guy because he was saying he needs the advance to do the
Mm,
thing. The Chinese wants the advance. So I advanced, and that was my mistake. I advanced the money. I advanced a
mm.
huge part of the money. And the guy just disappeared in thin air. Until today I haven't heard from him.
Oh, hello?
I see you, but
Hello?
yeah.
You're back
Can you
now.
hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So
So the guy
the guy
disappeared.
he just disappeared on me, and I was like, maybe this is a sign I should close this business.
But this is the
Until
guy that
today,
you were using him
I
all
was
this
usually,
time.
yes, I was working for him for more than a year, for more than 18 months actually, because
Wow.
now I'm already in the US. It was more than 2 years I've been working with him. So I was like, he took my money, he disappeared in thin air. I couldn't reach him. We couldn't find him. We went even to his house, nothing. So at some point I was like, I think I should just close this business. But I still hope though, right? I
Mhm.
still have hope. I was like, okay, let me just try something else. And I took a training. That's
Mhm.
why I decided to, like, since I couldn't find community manager to do it for me, I was like, okay, at least this online part, let me do it myself. So
Mm.
I took a training. I took courses and a coaching training to learn how to create videos and ads. So I started creating videos
Mhm.
using the framework they shared with us in the coaching program.
Mhm.
And at my surprise, the first 3 days, I
Mm.
got more than 300 people coming into my inbox asking for the things we were doing.
Wow.
So we had the demand.
Wow.
Now you need to satisfy the demand.
Mm, 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 mm.
I didn't have the packaging. So I had
Mm.
to go back to the old packaging we had before.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, let me do this for some time. I think I was hoping the guy would come forth with the packaging, right?
Mhm.
I still had the hope, like, okay, it's been 3 months. I'm sure maybe in 3 months he will come back. Maybe he just got a delay, something like that.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I was also affecting my brand because the company I was working with didn't want the old packaging. I could I could give that to the consumer because they don't really mind it. Like packaging is not really the main essence.
Wait, just so I understand, so you had the training for for online marketing,
Yes.
and then you created using that knowledge, you created a campaign for your
Yes.
cookies business in
Yes.
Cameroon.
Yes.
And then out of that campaign, you got 300 requests for
Yes.
orders.
It was people who were interested. You need to know that in
Mm,
marketing, not everybody who show interest will actually buy. You will
mm,
convert a certain percentage of those people. It's always like that in every market. That's what we
okay,
call the funnel.
okay,
Like
okay, okay.
people will show interest, but
Mm-hmm,
just some of them will take action right away.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Some
mm-hmm,
people will take action later. Like not everybody. There are three types of buyer
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
in marketing. They are the fast buyers.
mm,
They will usually buy like on the fourth day, fourth
mm-hmm,
day after meeting you,
mm-hmm,
less than fourth day they will buy. You have
mm,
the middle one. Usually
mm-hmm,
for them it will take like maybe 1 to 4 months.
Mhm. Mhm.
They need to know better. They need to make sure the analytics
Mhm.
make sense. And then you have the slow buyers. Them they
Mhm.
can go until 2 years
Okay.
before
So
they
then
buy
you,
from you.
so you had all this interest, and then you'd hoped that the
Then
guy with the packaging
I
would come
converted
through.
some. Since it was like consumer demand, I
Mhm.
sent some in the supermarket where we were exposing our product
Mhm.
to go and buy there directly because some of them still had
Mm.
some some product. So
Mm.
once it ended at those places, I now faced a huge problem because
Yeah.
most of those places they knew, look, they knew this packaging, right? Here
Nice.
was the packaging I
That's
was
so
exposing.
nice.
They knew this packaging, and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the one we were using before was, let me try to find it. I don't even know if I still have it. Mm, it was packaging in those brown seal thing. Yeah,
Brown
is
paper
this one
bags.
we were using before, right? So it's
Okay.
totally different.
Right.
And they, so they didn't want because it doesn't make sense. It feels
Yeah.
like it's not the same product.
Wow.
And so at that point I was like, maybe we just need to stop. So that's when I thought I took the hard decision of like, let me just close this thing. I think from the distance it would be hard to handle this thing. And I couldn't find good employees I could trust
Mhm.
from a distance. It was just a mess.
A
Like
mess. Yeah.
I feel like having a business back home that is doing product
Mhm.
service, I think you can do and follow up
Mhm.
easier than with the services than with the product, because the product, they have access to the product, they can take the product. Some of them, what they would do, they would take the product from the production, right? They
Mhm.
would say they are going to sell
Mhm.
in the market during like door to door and stuff like that, or event, and they will come back, like the money would not make sense, the
Mm.
number of product they come back with will not make sense, and then they will start telling you, no, they had to make taste the product, they had to do testing of the product with people and stuff like that. So they
Mm.
were actually stealing from me.
Right.
I realized that later. But how do you how do you actually how do you
Control that.
prevent that?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you prevent?
How did you prevent it when you were present? So not remote.
When I was present, it was easy. They know you're there, so
Mm.
there is that fear when they know you are around,
Mhm.
or you
Mhm.
have somebody behind their back, that they don't when they know you're not there.
Yeah.
Like when you're
Yeah.
not there, it would take you maybe, if before it was taking you one day to figure things out,
Mhm. Mhm.
that would
Mhm.
take you like 1 week.
Mhm.
They
Mhm.
are
Mhm.
like, in
Mm.
1 week we just have cool off. So,
Mm.
or they will play like, um I can you can reach me. Like you
Mhm.
will call, they won't pick up. You will
Yeah.
text, they won't answer.
Yeah.
When I was back home, you do that, I get to your house. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
You do
Yeah.
that, I get to your house. So they didn't have any means. When I was back home, it was easier for me to deal with those things.
Yeah.
And
You said that you were working with your mum and she helped you with the recipe with, producing the actual cookies. Did you have someone else that you could trust that could?
I couldn't find someone else. That
Oh
was my
wow.
problem.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
that was my, because it demand a lot of energy and presence.
Yeah.
The people I had didn't have the time, because you had to
Mm.
put in a lot of time. They didn't have the
Mm.
time.
Mm.
They
Mm. Mm.
couldn't follow up like I did, because they had their own things to do. Like,
Mm.
let's be honest,
Yeah.
going to people's house just to get the real thing is
Yeah.
like, you need a lot of time to follow up.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need a
Yeah.
lot of time for that follow up. So I was like, okay, let me just close this thing. And
Mm.
then
Mm. Mm.
I started thinking, what's next? And
Mhm.
that's how I started doing what I'm doing right now.
Wow.
I was like, I've had this bad experience. Let me just help others. And I also had a lot of people coming to me like, how did you do? How do you sell online? How do you? So they were asking me questions, because at the same time I had created a page where I
Mhm.
was sharing my journey. I was like, okay, here's what I'm doing on
Mm,
this thing.
mm,
Here's
mm, mm,
how to create videos. I started creating videos and I got this result. So
mm, mm,
here's
mm,
how you can also create your videos and stuff like that. And people
mm,
started asking me like, oh, okay, I can see. How do you create those videos? Like, how do you
mm.
do advertisement? How do you do things? And that's how I started teaching people about how to
Wow.
do that.
Wow. Wow. And that's a common theme when you talk to people who are working, in Africa. They can't find local people
Mm,
trusting work
it's
local
hard.
people to work with. And it's interesting that things were going really well when you were there present, and then as soon as you left, it just went
Mhm.
downhill from there.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
your what would be your advice for anyone that is, starting a business in Africa at the
I
moment?
think if you start a business and you're not in Africa, you need to
Mm.
make sure you have system and processes that will help you monitor from afar. I
Do
think
those systems work? Do they work?
that's
Have
the
you
thing I
used them?
didn't have. I think it can work, but I
Mm.
think that's the thing I didn't have. Since I was there, I was like, okay, I was doing things a certain way, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think ahead. Like, if I'm not here, what will
Mm.
happen?
Yeah,
How do we need to do this if I'm not here and stuff
yeah,
like that? And
yeah.
I think that's the biggest mistake I did because I think
Mm.
you can still have people even if they are not trustworthy, but if you have the system in place to
Mm-hmm,
track,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
to follow up, to like be on their back when they do things that doesn't make sense, they will
Mm.
be more fearful of doing certain things.
Mm, mm, mm,
I
mm, mm,
believe
mm.
so. I strongly believe so.
Like maybe cameras or like GPS
Maybe cameras in the office,
location
maybe
things.
I don't know, maybe giving them phone with you guys share the same WhatsApp to
Mm-hmm.
get the others. I but you need to have a system. Like,
Yeah.
it would depend on your business.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like, you need to first figure out how does my business work? Like, what is
Mm.
required for my business to work?
Mm, mm, mm,
If
mm, mm.
I have A, B, and C, D, like, what are the steps for me to get the result I want to get?
Yeah.
And try to turn those steps into processes and systems. I try to
Mm.
create a system at each level and some tracking method.
Yeah,
It can
that's
be with a simple call like, hey, a
mm.
GPS maybe on the phone you give them a
Mm-hmm,
platform with a GPS
mm-hmm.
that will track like, are you on the field? You
Mm.
call them, are you on the field? You know they are not.
Mm.
And they will tell
Mm.
you, yes, I am. Which
Mm-hmm.
area are you in? And on the
Mm.
GPS you can see like they are not there. So
Yeah.
I think that was the main thing that was lacking, and that's why I failed in that business. Because
Mm.
when I look at other brand here and stuff, I feel like those developed country, the main thing that is making them succeed is that the
Mm.
tracking, the system behind. Like, you can just play around.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
You
mm-hmm.
clock in, you clock out. They make sure you're
Yep.
clocking in because you're really working
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah. Amazing. Well, thank you so much. Thank you
you're
so much for
welcome.
sharing that with us. And just final words on, your platform, the videos that you make and the things that you share online and where people can find you.
So yeah, I'm mostly sharing for people who speak French
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
since Cameroonian. My first language is French. So
mm-hmm,
my channel name is at Rita Monkam
mm-hmm.
Vendre en ligne.
Nice.
So it's selling online in French. So that's how you can find me on YouTube, Facebook.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right. Well, thank you so much, Rita.
Thanks.
Thank you for
Thank you.
coming.
Take care.
You too. Bye.